The biting Scottish wind howled like a banshee, rattling Alan's lorry as he navigated the Dava Moor road. Madrid felt a world away, a sun-drenched promise at the end of a long, dark tunnel. He'd chosen this route, despite the lack of signal and the local whispers about its unsettling atmosphere, to shave off a few hours. Every minute counted when hauling a refrigerated trailer full of Scottish salmon destined for a Spanish market. Just minutes ago, he'd been chatting with his wife, her voice a warm beacon against the encroaching loneliness. Now, swallowed by the moor's desolate embrace, he was utterly alone. The only light came from his headlamps, carving a narrow swathe through the inky blackness. Out of the pitch darkness, a figure materialized in the beams. Not an animal, not a sheep straying from its flock. A woman. She stood motionless, her face obscured by the shadows of a hooded cloak, right in the middle of the road. Alan slammed on the brakes, the lorry protesting with a screech of tires. He leaned out the window, the wind whipping at his face. "Are you all right, love? You shouldn't be out here alone." The woman didn't respond. She simply stood there, an unnerving statue in the middle of the isolated moor. Alan hesitated. He couldn't just leave her. Maybe she was lost, her car broken down somewhere. He climbed down from the cab, his boots crunching on the gravel. As he approached, he noticed something glinting in her hand. A small silver object. He couldn't make it out in the dim light. "Can I help you?" he asked, his voice strained. The woman finally moved. She raised her hand, the silver object catching the light. It was a small, intricately carved fish, a salmon, identical to the ones he was carrying in his trailer. But this one seemed ancient, almost otherworldly. Then she spoke, her voice a low, chilling whisper that seemed to ride on the wind. "They belong here." Before Alan could react, she vanished. Just like that. Gone. Swallowed by the night. He stood there, shivering, not from the cold, but from a primal fear that gripped his heart. He scrambled back into the lorry, his hands shaking as he started the engine. He didn't look back. He didn't dare. Then he drove like a man possessed, the image of the woman and the silver salmon burned into his mind. He didn't stop until he reached a town with a signal. He called his wife, his voice trembling as he told her about the encounter. "Alan, you're imagining things," she said, her voice laced with concern. "It's the long hours, the isolation." Maybe she was right. But as he continued his journey towards Madrid, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, that the secrets of the Dava Moor were now riding with him, hidden amongst the frozen salmon. And he wondered what the woman meant when she said, "They belong here." What did belong here, and what was he carrying away?